Hey everyone. Oh, there you are. I was looking for my clear quartz. Hi to everyone coming in to this live. I'm just taking some time to ground. Hi Linda. I've just been taking some time to ground in a park. I had to finish off a few readings that I had to do for some clients, but I just took some time to kind of take some time out for myself and just come back to my own center. And I've been really doing a lot of healing work on my heart chakra. So I've been in this heart vibration, using my heart chakra singing bowl. And it's been a really beautiful energy today. I just found myself taking time just to connect with Mother Earth in all of its ways. And even as I'm sitting in the middle of the park right now, and I'm just seeing, like, I'm surrounded by a whole network of trees, and even that in itself is so beautiful, because it's showing me how divinely protected I am. Like, all of these trees are working together, like sending their own energetic field. They are, being able to breathe out their life into me, that I can myself receive that in itself. I find it so beautiful just to take moments to be grateful for that type of beautiful and simple experience. Sometimes we overcomplicate spirituality, and we don't take time to really just appreciate the little sacred moments and really simple moments. Not everything's deep, not everything's over complex, some days just simple. And with that being said, I wanted to kind of talk about something today. There's something that really bugged me, really hurt my heart. If anyone knows, it's been trending already, but a young man also going through his Saturn return, Etika, he was, I didn't know him personally, but the story definitely touched my heart. He was part of the gaming YouTube community, and apparently there was a lot of stuff that was going on online, and it led him to actually take his life. Now, what was actually going on is that there was this fear that he was going through a mental breakdown, and if anyone has actually caught or hasn't caught my last video that I did with Amenti the Oracle, called mental health versus spiritual awakening. You'll find this on my YouTube channel, Soul-Reconnection. But this is where we was actually talking about this type of thing in itself, and I'm definitely, probably on the next episode we do with Amenti, actually go deeper into this case as this topic as a case study of Etika. Just being able to look at what was actually going on with him. If anyone's actually going to seen the videos that he was uploading to YouTube, they would have seen very disturbing. But there was definitely another angle that I was able to see, that I believe had he had the assistance that I had from Amenti at that time, when I was going through my own transition, my own awakening experience, it may not have been that extreme, because he would have had someone who actually understands what it is that he's going through, and he wouldn't have felt that all of this was, he was by himself. So he was actually saying some stuff that was actually quite profound. Some of the stuff that was streaming through him, if you actually kind of like take a step aside and actually look at it for what he was saying, like, it was actually quite profound in what he was talking about. But again, a lot of us use these judgment glasses when we're viewing these types of things, And I specifically wanted to mention Etika's case, leading into what I wanted to talk about today in regards to what's going to come up with Mercury Retrograde, because I feel it's very, very important, and I feel as if we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff like this popping up in the YouTube community. We're going to be seeing these almost an increase of suicide or suicidal tendencies as we move through this Mercury retrograde in Leo, because what's happening is that our masks are being tested. And Jim Carrey, he spoke about the mask. He was the mask, if anyone remembers the mask on TV. But Jim Carrey himself, he said that depression comes when your mask, I'm going to paraphrase, when your mask is basically not working for you anymore. It doesn't work. The mask that you're trying to present to the world that you are versus who you actually are, it's almost like that matrix is crashing. And there's a level of authenticity that is required to move into this next season. We're moving into 2020. I keep saying this all the time. 2020 is a quantum leap. So there's a level of authenticity that we have to have moving into 2020, or we're just going to get lost, you know. And I want to go into that a bit more. I kind of wrote some notes so that I could actually stay true to what is it that I wanted to talk about. But kind of going back to the Etika situation, because it definitely relates to my situation that I had, and even going through my situation with the mental health system and how I was actually abused by the mental health system. And people say, "Oh, why didn't he just why didn't he just go to the hospital? Like he would have been okay then." Or there was a video where he actually got arrested in his apartment, and he was saying, I'm scared. I understand why he was scared. He'd been in hospital before. I've been in hospital before. I know what happens in those places. Those places are not a place of rehabilitation, even especially if you're going through something that isn't necessarily a quote unquote kind of boxed mental health condition. Like, this is something that is so much deeper that medication, even psychotherapy, is so much deeper than that can actually deal with. And this is where transpersonal therapy is able to come in, coming into understanding energy, understanding the fragments of the soul. This is something that psychotherapy doesn't actually go into. It doesn't actually deal with trauma. It only deals with the mental illness, when a lot of the things aren't. Mental health is supposed to be about mental wellness, but the mental health system has made it into mental illness, and according to them, a lot of us would fall in that category. So, you know, it's so much a wider situation than what is being presented. So I just want people to understand that it's just not as simple. Like, these situations aren't just straightforward. It's so much deeper. There's so many layers to it, and this is where you actually need people who know exactly what's going on and how to be able to deal with these types of situations. If there was a transpersonal therapist that was there would have been someone to actually help him go through that process without feeling like he was going crazy. It was just, you know, allowing him to experience what he needed to experience and be affirmed that he had the strength to be able to go through it. I mentioned in the last video I did about spiritual awakening is that the difference between mental health conditions and a spiritual awakening is that someone who has a mental health condition may not have the capacity to be able to endure the intensity of what comes with a spiritual awakening. And I know that because I almost cracked, but luckily I didn't. You know, luckily I had the strength to actually go through the fullness of that experience. But unfortunately, some people don't. And I truly do believe that Etika himself would have been able to have done that had he had the assistance, but he himself said that he had removed himself from anyone that actually cared about him. But even that in itself, I can identify with that in the sense that the people that may care about him may not be trying to see things from his perspective, or may not be. He may just feel like it's just an oppression, because he's trying to still understand what is it that he's feeling, what is it that he's seeing, what is it that he's connecting dots with. But if you feel like you can't exactly express that to anyone, even if you don't understand what the hell you're talking about, just being able to have someone to be like, actually, I hear you, I hear you, I see you. You know, I may not understand what's going on, but I can see something's going on, and, you know, just speak strength into that person. You know, this is very, very, very deep. So I mentioned this because, again, even the reaction of YouTube, now there needs to be a petition that goes against YouTube or something, because if people are quick to cancel Jeremy Kyle off ITV because one person commits suicide, then I'm sure there's a case that can go against YouTube in terms of this life that has been taken and the way that people have been behaving. If you go and type in his name, you'll see people taunting his death, like putting up pictures, mocking him, saying he's, you know, all of these different types of things. Like, this is not a healthy environment. Social media has become a very, very dangerous place, and this is what's coming up with this Mercury retrograde, because, you know, it's almost like everyone's going to be fighting with these masks. And again, I link the mask to mental health. When, you know, all of these masks that you're trying to place on yourself, it's not working. You know, you're trying to, especially YouTubers, Etika himself, he tried to be something that he wasn't, and he was so affected by the fact that he wasn't able to be as authentic. I even saw, even after I put the post up yesterday, I put the post up to say that I did feel like there was going to be an increase in suicide. I then saw a video with another big YouTuber saying she can't take it no more. She's been struggling with depression, and mainly it's because of YouTube. Same thing with Etika. This thing really started because of how monetization has changed on the platform. It's harder to get monetized, so you have to literally be a slave to YouTube to make sure that you're making the type of money that just makes everything so much more easier. So this is what's coming into, especially the YouTubers community, and I'm seeing. Sorry, back to the girl that I think her name's Alyssa Ferrero or something like that. She was saying she's lost her sense of creativity, and that's given her so much anxiety, because YouTube is basically work for her. If she's not making videos, she's not making any money. So now you're battling with this mask that she's placed on herself to be able to, you know, create this channel that becomes entertaining to draw that high amount of following to your platform, but it's not real, and it's breaking you. It's causing you to go through this extreme period of depression, because you're realizing, actually, I need something that's authentic. You know, Leo is related to like that sense of purpose. It's a very ambitious sign, very hard working, but you can't really do that if you haven't worked out what's going on in the inner realms, in your inner mind. That's what Mercury retrograde is. It's bringing us inside. It's almost like retrogrades are like, you know, when when the planets are direct, you're more extroverted, you know, so this favors the extroverts. But when there's a retrograde, you know, you become an introvert, and this can be very, very difficult for those that are trying to be very extroverted, externalizing their energy out a lot of the time. Now, what will happen is that at the end of this Mercury retrograde, we will have a lift, and we will definitely be able to, what I call, tap into that flow state, which is something I'm trying to work on, being able to really, really tap into in a very deep level. Tap into that flow state, because, you know, there's times that when I'm at home, or when I'm speaking just with myself, or not with myself, but even just writing out my thoughts, or even just having a private conversation with someone that I know, I notice that I can actually, the stuff that I can come out with is very, very profound. But when I come on camera, there's a block. I can't tap into the essence, that flow of that inspiration as effectively as I would be able to if I'm at home. So that's one thing that I've been dealing with. But definitely after Mercury retrograde, there will be like some kind of added flair that will be added to that. So in terms of Mercury retrograde, this time I would really advise you to take time and really think about what it is that you feel you're supposed to be doing. You know, what is it that you bring to this world? Like, what substance can you bring? It's not about surface stuff anymore. It's not about superficiality. It's about being able to tap into the essence of your substance. People are seeking for substance, and it's all about I would advise anyone who's going onto YouTube or starting a channel or anything, I would advise you, please create original content. That's what people resonate with. That's what people are waiting for. That's what people, you know, really connect with. It's all about authenticity and originality, you know. Don't fall into this hive mind mentality, you know, being very easily impressionable to fall into a category, to like have to, you know, there's some YouTubers that do some foolishness online just for likes, and it's like, is it really that deep? Is it really that necessary? I understand there's an entertainment aspect of things, and, you know, you got to do what you got to do to make what you got to make, but there's a time where that's not really going to work anymore, and that time is coming very, very swiftly, moving into 2020. Like, I just say, don't get lost. Like, really, really tap into what is it that you feel you came to bring here. Like, what is it you came, when you chose to incarnate to Earth, what was your plan? What was your vision? How did you see things were going to play out? Like, tap into that moment before the program came and almost interrupted your default settings. What was that? Like, tap into the moment before you took your first breath. Like, go into meditation and really, like, see yourself tapping into that moment that you said, that you was like, okay, I'm coming here, because you chose to come here. You chose your experiences. These things didn't just happen just for the sake of happening. Like, the universe is so much more bigger, so much more intelligent. You know, it's all very conscious. Nothing is just done on just for the sake of it. So I would just say, find out how to tap into the deepest part of you, and find out how you can best express that. That's what I would say. So I'm hoping that you resonated with this live. Definitely take a look over onto my YouTube again, onto Soul Reconnection. Definitely take a look back at the mental health versus spiritual awakening video. The topic I was talking at the beginning of this definitely goes in line with that. And also, definitely go to my website. if you want to be able to keep updated with any information that or any events that I'm going to be doing or anything, because there's a lot that's going on, definitely head over to my website and sign up to the mailing list, www.soul-reconnection.com, and you can also book your sessions, your reading sessions, intuitive oracle sessions, where I can basically take you through a wide range of different healing modalities, coupled with intuition, as I'm an oracle, as I said. Most of the time I don't need cards. That's what I meant to say. I'm very in tune with my intuition. I'm very solid in it. Like, there's times I don't need cards. If I go to cards, it's for confirmation. So I also do that, and I also do natal chart readings where I can help you discover your inner realms. Like, what is your inner realms? What is your 12 dimensions of self? These are your houses in your astrological chart. We're not just your sun sign, you're not just your moon sign, you're not just your rising sign. You are literally the whole zodiac, and you're learning how to activate different aspects of yourself throughout your life, and your natal chart reflects that beautifully. Your natal chart is literally like a blueprint of your life. So when I was saying, like, really tap into your authenticity, like, who is it that you are, all of these things can be found in your natal chart. So it's not something that you'll never be able to find an answer. You can find an answer if you're willing to actually go and take the journey. So I'll definitely encourage you with that. So just want to thank everyone for who's been listening into this live, and I'll catch you guys later.